I usually give a sort of state of the band program specifically, and the music program more generally on this evening each year. But tonight I'm going to leave that script behind, and for obvious reasons, focus on John Mitchell. And for those of you who read the New York Times piece that appeared earlier this week, I want to say that I spoke to Morgan Wooten tonight just before I came here. And I told him he was the John Mitchell of basketball. Morgan told me he was honored to be considered so. You know, I look forward to every day at DeNafa, but there are days in the life of the school that I look forward to with a really enormous sense of anticipation. Opening day, various concerts, big games, graduation, academic celebrations of all sorts. And there are really very few days I approach with dread, really only those where tragedy has befallen a member of the DeNafa community. So tonight may be the very first time in 11 years that I have been filled with both anticipation and dread. The anticipation, well, that's easy. A chance to hear the finest high school band in the country, led by the finest high school conductor in the country, and the chance to see former students, current and past parents, and other members of the community. The dread, well, that's easy too. It's the last time I'll hear the DeNafa Wind Ensemble live, conducted by John Mitchell. I expressed what it was like to have this mixture of anticipation and dread to John in my office the other day. And he told me he knew exactly how I felt because he had the same reaction to seeing Jim Roper in drag whenever they performed. There's no way to summarize or do any sort of real justice to John Mitchell's remarkable 41 years at DeNafa. A list of all the awards, both individual and collective, would take several hours. A recitation of the lives touched and improved might take several decades. A program that began with one band, consisting of 19 students, 11 self-identified percussionists, now boasts a full music program with band, chorus, percussion ensembles, strings, music theory, music history, and over 400 students. There have been tens of thousands of miles traveled, thousands of awards won, hundreds of all-state performers, scores of festivals played in, dozens of musical scores taught, a few close colleagues and fellow travelers, a handful of homes for the program, and at the heart of it all, one John Mitchell. What I can do best is try to give some indication of John's quotidian excellence and his genius. And it is a genius. And the thing about genius is that when I try to explain it, it's going to seem like a formula that could be followed. But it's not, because if it was that simple, it wouldn't be genius. I've watched John teach numerous times in the last 11 years. And I read the other day a copy of a note I sent him on an ordinary October day some years ago. And part of that note reads, "John, I really admire the way you mix humor and direction, criticism and encouragement, so that your students see not only what they are doing individually, but how that fits in a larger whole. Thank you for sharing your genius with them and us." Now, for the last 11 years, I've done senior exit interviews, and I have stacks of comments from students expressing their admiration for John. I was intrigued in rereading them that they nearly all emphasize those things that I wrote to John about. There are numberless references to his terrific direction, countless examples of how his constructive criticism improved their work, and often their lives. Myriad mentions of how encouraging he has been to them, and a profound appreciation for his wonderful sense of humor. I was half tempted to just bring those with me and read them to you. And it's in these personal relationships that should really define the career of a brilliant teacher. But John's influence, as has been noted, extended far beyond the music program at DeMatha. He has influenced music education throughout the region. Numerous area schools sought to strengthen their arts programs to compete with DeMatha, thereby benefiting countless other kids. Many DeMatha alums now head prestigious secondary and middle school band programs, borrowing from John even as they forge their own ways. John's generosity as an adjudicator, guest conductor, an indefatigable promoter of music education has enriched the entire area. DeMatha, which in the 60s was known in too limiting a fashion as an athletic powerhouse, has become well known as an outstanding, well-rounded school, due in no small part to John's work in helping bring outstanding students and musicians to the school. Students who would never have considered coming if we didn't have a music program began to make trips from distances that changed DeMatha from a local school to a regional school. John will remain as Director Emeritus. He'll teach master classes, visit us often, attend functions, and he's offered to be on call to help in all sorts of ways. You know, DeMatha has been a school that has featured tremendous talent, and we've been blessed to absorb other significant retirements, but that certainly doesn't make this any easier. John's real legacy is in the gift of strength he leaves us, a program of unmatched depth, breadth, and creativity, one poised to grow even more. But for this one night, it's not so much about the program, the school, or us. It's about John. There'll never be another. Thanks, John.